Next question is, what would a modern day apostle look like? Well, the best answer I have is you wouldn't know. He wouldn't be any different than anybody else. Apostles don't have halos on their heads, and they don't have stripes on their shoulders, even though the word comes from a military word, which is admiral, which is describing a person of authority. But the word apostle comes from Ephesians 4, which talks about what's called the fivefold ministry: the apostle, the teacher, the prophet, the pastor, and the evangelist. And the best way to look at an apostle is they've done all four. In other words, I look at apostles probably most well known as missionaries, because a missionary, if they go into an area that's never been touched before with the gospel, they're going to go there and evangelize. And then they're going to start teaching them to be disciples. And then they're going to start establishing a church where they'd be the first pastor would be themselves. And they probably have some of the gifts of the Spirit they're going to work, which would fit into the prophetic. And so out of those four, they become the apostle to that church. And then they go do that in another area, and they place somebody over that church as the pastor. And that's the pattern for Paul, and you'll see it in the Bible and all the missionary trips that are described in the book of Acts. That's sort of the pattern how things work. Now today we are in a world where the church is already established, so a lot of denominations have what you call administrator type people that are called superintendents or district administrator. They are men and women over churches. They oversee them, they help plant others, and so they would fit into the apostle role if they're doing most of those four other gifts. Our Association of Churches has an apostle, apostolic, they call it, where he has established the association. Churches have joined him. He's planted other churches. He oversees the churches. So he's fitting the role of an apostle in our association, which is Dr. Jim Miley. So it's very current today, but most churches that are denominational anyway, they call it more of a supervisor or superintendent. They don't use the word apostle, but it's same thing. It's someone overseeing churches, doing more than just pastoring or teaching or evangelizing. They're more of in a multifaceted role of the four different gifts, and that's what I think most makes them an apostles type position.